You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams. Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability. Service in select locations only.
Do you love the Tabernacle Choir? This year, the choir's music is everywhere you are. Listen to your favorite choir songs and music and the spoken word anytime you want on Alexa by simply enabling the skill.
Alexa, play music in the spoken word.
Now playing music in the spoken word.
You can also download the Tabernacle Choir app, subscribe to the choir on YouTube, listen on Spotify, and have access to all their wonderful music. Happy listening.
Welcome to the KSL Home Show. Brought to you by Osmond Designs. We open the doors for local home buyers and sellers with a fast-moving show about Utah real estate and home design. Here's Heather Osmond and Lindsay Aerts on KSL News Radio 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
2022 is magical, and you have hope and joy on the horizon for 2023. That is what we welcome on into the home show today. Thank you for joining us. And happy New Year, everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic time celebrating the last day of 2022.
Oh my goodness, I hope you have fun plans tonight for New Year's.
Happy New
Lots
Year.
of fun
It's the last day of
that we're excited to talk about in the real estate market. Not only residential, but also commercial.
Like,
You're probably thinking,
it's a blur.
If you haven't done it already, you need to take down your Christmas.
I think I wore a mask.
You guys,
we did too.
Yes, we are so excited that you're joining the show today. We, of course, have Drew Armstrong with Armstrong and Flinders. He's back on the show. A few spaces available. Talk about everything right here at the end of the show, New Year's. I don't know about you guys, but see you. And Matthew's gone. He's out partying again. And then that next week is when I take it down.
I think technically, if you set it up in October, you can leave it until February. Because it's so hard.
Or if you're like Lindsay and you set it up a week before Christmas, then you should leave it up till March.
It's staying up at least another week until I have time.
You're awesome.
I
Good
have
on
had
Matthew
to tell
go help
people,
her out.
you need to
That's
take
so
your
sweet.
Christmas tree down.
Good job.
because
Okay, so we want to go
house.
over
Like
what happened in
May.
2022. Let's recap that.
It's a good
And
time.
then we'll
Yes,
also,
and it's been
of course,
just
talk about what we're excited
outside.
about
So
for
it's been
2023 in the real estate market.
We were talking about how the snow
Because,
feels magical
it
until
is
Christmas,
crazy
and then after
right
Christmas,
now.
you're
It's
like,
so
well,
weird.
it's going to snow until March.
It's true, but the real estate market is still booming. I heard that there were quite a few homes that did still sell.
We're excited
in the
about it. I just put another
time.
property under
Most of those
contract. I closed
people
on
are
one a couple months
forced to
ago.
sell,
myself.
right?
Yeah, I mean, there's
So you're hogging all the good deals.
I'm
Good
listening,
on you.
and our demographic is
So
the thing
happy
that
for you. We were
going
just
to
right
drive-
before the show
even
talking about a
while-
property that you put
I mean,
under
the reason that
contract
they're raising interest
in the
rates is
Pleasant
they're
Grove
trying to slow
area.
down
It's
inflation,
a great
right?
commercial
And so
space.
what
It'll be
they
a
want
tear
is they
down,
want more
and then you'll
unemployment.
be able to do
They
multifamily
want,
on top of that.
Yep, we will. It's
Brilliant.
in the right zoning. To stop
And I
going
told
up so
Drew,
much,
if you need a partner,
and the way
I'm
you
putting
can
money
make
in that.
prices
That's
stop going up so
incredible.
much.
I love that.
I love that
Rates
you
so
guys
they're
can
not
just
as
see diamonds in the rough
desirable.
and see
I'm falling victim to
opportunities.
their
And
very plan.
Because I'm like, I don't want to buy this house
It's
yet.
the
I
evil
hope to become
plan,
one
but you know,
day. But like,
the thing is,
I don't even know how to get in.
It's a blunt
like, it's just you don't have enough for a down
to
payment,
try to
and then
manage
I know there's some
supply and
risk you got to
demand.
take.
we have
and
to
just slow it
be
down a little bit.
scared.
And
Don't
they
be
need to
scared.
slow down. Somebody to hold your hand.
I know.
I'm looking at numbers, and it's been interesting because there was a already conference done every there November as at the end of November. Advisors are for. That's the whole point.
It's true.
Because when you see that bank account drain for the down payment, you're like, I know this is going to be worth it in the long run. It's going to be worth it in the long run. It's hard to see the forest.
This is what the nest egg is for you, right?
And Lindsay, right before the show, we were talking about this property that you're excited about. It's a duplex. It's owned by a family trust.
James
It's, grandma's living in it.
And one of the things that
close to the Sugar House area. And Drew and I are over here saying,
buy
it, Lindsay, buy it, take it.
I know. There's some complicating factors that I won't get into, but
because there's a correlation,
it's one of those
and
things where
sometimes
it's
we'll see
like,
it
do
drop
you
down a little bit, but then
like,
it'll
is it
recover
risky
even
right
the
now
next
because
quarter.
of where
And
interest rates are? Are we going to be able to refinance at some point? Because it will strain us for a little bit. And do you take that risk?
Substantially.
Because I'm doing what the market is trying to do right now. Cool it down, right? And I'm that person that's taking that bait.
And I love that you're conservative, right? You want to be careful, but for the price that you were telling us, you cannot buy a duplex for that price. Even as a fixer-upper,
house in May.
So this would be a great investment for you, even if you had to feed it for even a year or two, $100 or $200 or $300 a month.
Then there's the mental aspect of it of like, do we have capacity to like be the landlords? Like, you're fixing toilets right now.
I always say the only time anybody pays attention to what their house is worth, and
that's where property manager maybe comes in handy too.
But you got to make sure that you're willing to either pay for the property what the house is worth, cover it yourself, either or. So, and I mean, when I started, I was young enough. I've got a general contractor's license. I know that I did demographically speaking on my properties myself. Is the youngest but I got to the in the country where 5 years. Now I try like if it's close, then I'll still show up in Idaho and double check and decide whether or not I call the plumber.
Yeah,
because and so what I can do going on right now that we are really as far as unplugging a toilet is, but I am also not willing to replumb the interest rates going up. Slows down when I started
because you had to.
Yeah, and when they are not willing to purchase. When we started when we were young, because they're borrowing money at higher rates.
When we were young and dumb.
Well, we weren't. I mean, I thought about. They're not. Am I dumb? Because
no, we're actually smart. Looking back, I wish I would have
cool programs.
Real estate.
Oh, you guys! My first one, I still own my first cycle. I don't own a lot that I have bought and sold since then, but my first one is fun to talk about because it was a duplex in Provo below
so this is in our starter home price point, right? So those lower end homes, they're great.
And I was like, oh my gosh, because I bought it in 2002, but in 1999, rates were
I know there are several developers, Edge Homes, Ivory Custom Homes.
They were up at
9.5%.
And for an investment property, it's usually and the first time they were doing that, by 2002, it was down, but it was more like 6 or 7%. And 2002, we have D.R. Horton, and I bought that one, and I had to pay townhouses right next to where I live to cover the payment after I collected rent. Yeah. Because they've learned $250 a month. This makes a lot of sense for us to
own. When you're not making a lot and you're starting and you're hungry
and my whole down payment went down to I was like tapped out because development all my money does the rentals place to begin with.
Nobody talks about that part.
Right. And so you're like at that point you're like, well, if I need and now the properties are worth what? I'm going to 2 and 3 times. I mean, really, because I didn't have any more money at that point. We don't need to sell these things. But that place right now is worth about $750,000. If they're keeping them as rentals, then I've pulled more money out of it over the years.
I personally know one of the owners of ICO,
once you have,
and he is a Harvard. He's probably the smartest man I've ever met. Truthfully, he has
Harvard MBA,
charts and graphs. I mean, to even be in Harvard, but then to get an MBA from Harvard is a whole nother level. But I'm working with them on some clubhouses and refreshing some of their model homes that are dated.
Yeah,
I've never seen anything like it. I mean, it was a whole nother level, and I've been in this business for 27 years working with construction and builders. They know what they're doing. They are savvy business people. If they're doing it, we should all be doing it. Listen to the KSL Home Show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Like, I'm going to pay money out of pocket when I could just sit here and do nothing and have more money in my bank account.
Well, and money in your bank account a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, if you, looking back...
It's the KSL Home Show, sponsored by Osmond Designs. If you like talking about Utah homes and real estate, then this is the place on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back into the Home Show. Thank you for joining us. Happy New Year, everybody. We're so excited to go into 2023, especially in the real estate market in Utah. We have Drew Armstrong with us and Heather Osmond, of course, of Osmond Designs. And you guys have motivated me, I shall say. Every week I come here and I get motivated either to redesign my home or to get into the real estate market. Because if you can find a place right now that can appreciate for a little while, you're sitting pretty, right?
Oh my goodness. I love this show because it's just always good news, I feel like. I've been doing this show for almost 4 years and I can't really remember a bad news episode in Utah. It just is always good news in the real estate market. They say today, even nationally, 90% of millionaires made their money in real estate, and that is so true here in Utah. It's a great time to be an investor. It's a great time to be a homeowner. If you have a great home that you love, remodel it. If you need to upsize or downsize or right size, whatever that may be, it's just such a great time to hire someone like Drew Armstrong and his partner Matthew Flinders. We have Drew on the show with us today. Welcome.
Hey, I'm back here.
You're back again. We love having you.
You'll make
good
more
news for
than what you can
2023
do
is
your
get in the market,
and
even
your
though interest rates are
husband's
a little bit higher. So you're going to be tight for a minute. This is great. And just know that going in. But we've done this. We're walking the walk. We talk the talk. Drew, how many properties do you own right now?
Rates are so high.
6 right now.
You know what?
In the height of our real estate investment, my husband and I, we own 33. It was
great
insane. It was
how do you even keep those straight?
It was our full-time job, just maintaining and collecting the rents, but it was the best thing that we've ever done. An investor, Drew, you're calling me first. Single-family that is a great deal. I'm super excited and moved all of that money to assisted living. And then at the height of the market, we sold all of those. We had 5 at the time. Sold those and then moved it all to commercial real estate and development and subdivisions, and just still have all of that. And it's just been amazing.
And it seems like you can control it better than, for example, putting your money in the stock market.
100%. It's real. It's tangible.
Here's the thing: is that when you look at stock market losses instead of one, like in real estate right now,
you guys are so good at this, and so but this is your full-time job. What about people like me that have a full-time job? My husband has a full-time job, but we want to invest. Like, how do we manage all this?
Then just like your duplex that we were talking about, you just stick with properties that need paint and carpet. Right. Maybe just a little minor thing. Those are things you can do on the weekend. You hire them out, do what you do best, sub out the rest, take it from Drew Armstrong and Heather Osmond, who back in the day when we were young and we had no money and we were in there. I mean, personally, my husband and I were hanging sheetrock to the point where I was in tears. It was horrible. It was ruining our marriage. I said, we cannot do this.
Okay, good advice. Thank you guys. I'm getting my Heather Osmond, of course, of Osmond Designs. Not only is she an interior design expert, but also real estate expert. Drew Armstrong with us as well. UtahRealEstate.net.
They've been trained. The reason that we're all hanging over there, out at the place at 1 o'clock in the morning, cleaning paintbrushes because we're finally done painting,
trying to get the renter in,
is because that is what's going to afford the life that we want to live. And it's interesting because my daughter is 23 right now. And
welcome to the KSL Home Show, brought to you by Osmond Designs. We open the doors for local home buyers and sellers with a fast-moving show about Utah real estate and home design. Here's Heather Osmond and Lindsay Aerts on KSL News Radio 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
And then fixed it up and flipped it, and he made a bunch of money. His brother made a bunch of money, and their first house he bought a month before they got married. And it has an apartment in the basement. And that apartment's rent basically pays for they live up in Ogden, right by the university.
Welcome back into the Home Show today. Happy New Year, and thank you for joining us, everybody. I am Lindsay Aerts here with Heather Osmond of Osmond Designs. And Drew Armstrong with us as well from UtahRealEstate.net. Drew, Happy New Year.
Thank you. I'm excited about it. Although tonight, I'm probably just going to go sleep.
No, listen. Anyone who makes it to midnight, let's get on you.
We're all old. Yeah, so excited for them. Okay, in closing, I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite quotes.
Which is crazy because when I was a kid and I was going to BYU, I had a mobile DJ company.
So sacrifice now.
Like the
Super Bowl was New Year's Eve. Like we would later. You make smart investments now. Life will be better later. We're investing in our future retirements. There's no better way than in real estate.
In bed by 8
Buy the house. I know. We're always watching those analytic reports. You know, at the state of Utah about real estate and national reports.
My
do, and then by 10 p.m.
I've only told you the area.
The predictions for 2023.
Well, we should talk about that a little bit, Heather, because going into 2023, we're in a unique place in Utah with interest rates and just our housing market.
Yeah, we have some interior design services. We'll help you pick out your paint, your carpet, your hardwood, your countertops. Almost every state in the nation.
Osmond Design
Drew touched a little bit about this in the previous segment because our demographics
and then Drew Armstrong,
so strong. We have younger population than any other state in the country by, what did you say, 5 years?
5 years.
See you next year. And I hope to that. So supply and demand is the name of the game.
That's what it is. And right now, while rates are up, it doesn't mean that families aren't forming. They're still forming. And they still need housing. Kids are moving out of their parents' house, and they need a rental, or they need to buy a place. And right now, they are not able to qualify as quickly because the rates are where they are. The average house, the average priced home in Utah is unaffordable for 2/3 of Utah adults in Utah.
And so does that mean the rental market is stronger? We need more rentals? Or
absolutely.
Yeah.
It pushes these households that are forming, instead of being able to afford their first place, they're delaying that, and they're either living in mom and dad's basement, a rental at home. And now, Utah 2 years ago, our legislature made it so that unless you have a university that has a population or a student base that's more than 10,000, and even with those, they didn't let them completely off the hook. They say, you need to have a lot more accessory apartments. Mm-hmm. And so they forced them to allow for a lot more than they used to have. But in every other city, every house, it doesn't matter if you're okay, listeners, it doesn't matter if your homeowners association says that you can't have an accessory apartment in your house, you still can. Okay, because that's the state law at this point. And so a lot of them are moving into accessory apartments. We're providing lower income housing by building accessory apartments, so that's helping.
For sure. And these are these ADUs, we call them,
accessory dwelling units. Yeah. Yep. And that doesn't mean you just turned your house into a duplex, because it doesn't work if you don't actually own and live in the house.
Right.
But so there's differences in the categorization of how they say, okay, this is a house with an accessory dwelling unit versus this is a duplex.
Right.
But they're moving into those. They're moving into rentals. Rents are going up because there's more competition for the number of rental units, which is. This is the negative side of raising interest rates, is that it slows down household construction, so home construction. So the builders are going, oh, we're not going to build as many because they can't sell them to the consumer, which means that we're compressing the demand a little bit. We're pushing them into basements. We're pushing them to accessory dwelling units. A lot of times the builders are going, okay, well, I'm going to keep this because the rents are going up, and I don't have as ready and able buyer out there to buy my townhouses, so I'm going to keep them, and maybe we'll sell them in 3 years or something. But there is, if you're an investor in this market, even though it is more expensive to get into them, I just bought another one, a townhouse to rent, and that townhouse is going to cost me $200 a month.
Yeah.
Again, I haven't done that for a long time. I've been able to just buy one, and then it cash flows. And it's like, now I'm going, I should have bought a lot more.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Uh-huh.
But even though I'm buying one where it is not cash flowing, it's actually negative cash flowing, the upside for this one for me is like, oh my gosh, because the one I'm buying is a duplex in a townhouse form. So it has a store, a commercial space, and then a townhouse upstairs. So when I bought that, I'm like, I'm going to keep that because either I refinance it or rents go up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden that's going to become a cash cow to begin with.
Really just a win-win. That's fantastic. So we've been focusing a lot on starter homes and on production subdivisions for new construction. for these builders that are building more of the low-end affordable housing. However, upside is custom homes. There has been a trend of people downsizing and not needing larger homes. But this 2021, I think obviously we can blame it on COVID pandemic. People are realizing I need more space. I'm moving my office that I used to go to home, and I need additional space, not only because now their kids need a space or their parents need to move in. So there really is a trend in the custom home market where these homes are needing to be larger, and people are investing and spending more money in their homes than ever.
Because they're planning on spending, like, even if they can go to work now, and they can in a lot of cases, although there are some companies that are just, I mean, I'll tell you the bad end of the real estate market right now, which is probably a good end if you're an investor because you can pick it up cheap, is that office space right now is still
dying.
Cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a place that is like very, very low-end office space that we're leasing right now. We're getting people that are looking at leasing this. I mean, part of it is like almost like construction trailer, you know? I mean, that level, it's very nice inside, but it is very low-end office space, and they're looking at renting it as storage.
Yeah,
as
just warehouse space.
Storage.
Well, you can't even get warehouse space.
Yeah, because you can't find that.
I was looking for some recently because we had an overflow of inventory, like many furniture stores in the industry, because we didn't know when we were going to be able to get upholstery again. So we bought a lot of it. Yeah, buy extra. And there were lead times of 9 months, 12 months down the road. So then everything lands and it slowed down a little bit, which is great. We have great upholstery in stock. But we needed space to store it. And just like you're saying, looked everywhere. There was nothing available. So if you own warehouse right now, you're getting a premium price. And if you own office, a lot of those people are actually renting them out just for storage.
I've got some office you could rent for storage.
There we go.
I'm good now. We sold so much.
This is how deals are made, people.
It works.
But that's the thing, is that people are right now, they're in the middle of a little bit of upheaval as to the type of housing that they're interested in. I have some friends that are very high-end custom home builders in Utah County. They're busy. Yeah. They're
backlogged.
I'm like, have you slowed down? And they're like, we're hoping it's going to slow down a little bit. And they're anticipating that it will at some point slow down. It has not slowed down for the high-end custom home builders right now, which I'm like, really? And they're like, no, we were so backed up. We are so committed. We have so many people that want to get houses started that, maybe 2 or 3 of them will have fallen out, but that just means that somebody else that's waiting gets into us quicker.
Yeah. And people that have money still have money. Yeah. So not only are they making their current home larger, but then they're buying investment properties, or they're buying vacation homes in multiple locations. I'm currently doing interior design work for so many in the Park City, Midway, Heber area, even Alpine area, all across the state, truthfully. But it's just exploding in the Park City area. And these people have homes in St. George and in Hawaii and Texas and New York and all over. I mean, the money is coming not only from Utah itself, but also from out-of-staters, which is incredible.
I've got a client right now that we're looking for a new place in Park City, and they want a place that they can rent out 11 months out of the year, and they're going to live there for 1 month in the summertime. And
just
they're
for
both
the tax
attorneys in Southern California, and they've got, and they're, oh my gosh, they could be my kids. But they've got more than $1 million to put down on this place.
Yeah, as a down payment. Well, and I think a lot of the builders in those areas were seeing their clients making so much money. They were building these homes, and then when the homes were complete, they were selling them for $500,000 or $1 million more than
as soon as
they were done. And the builders thinking, I did all the work. Why am I not doing this? So you were seeing a lot of the builders jumping into the market to build spec homes because the homes were selling before they were even complete, which is incredible, right? Yeah. I mean, we've been spoiled here in Utah. There's no doubt about it. I don't feel like things are going down. I think things are just
Well,
leveling off a little bit.
There are segments of the market, even in the high end. Like if you look at homes that are more than 20 years old, in above like $700,000, $800,000, $900,000, yeah, they've come down $100,000.
Sure.
But I at the same time, I've got people that have 3-year-old houses that are beautiful up in Alpine or Highland or Draper in the right places, and they're selling them in 4 days.
Yeah.
Still. So they're trying to slow. If you've got anything that's under $500,000, we can sell it in a week.
Yeah.
And that's it. So they're trying to slow the market down with interest rates being what they are. But we have a lot of money that's already available, and I'm afraid. They raised the rates this last time for a half a point, and the other increases from the Fed were a full point up till now, and so maybe they're laying off a little bit. But and our market is reacting the way they wanted to, but there are a lot of markets that are not. They're not. We're slowing down more than some of the other markets have been a little bit, which is great. But I think it's because our demographic is so young. They don't have any experience going through little ups and downs. And they're thinking, great recession. A lot of them are, because that's the only thing they've ever had any experience with.
So true. I love having you on the show, Drew. Great news for all of our KSL friends. Looking forward to 2023. If you are in the market as an investor, it's a great time, including Lindsay.
I know.
Let's go, Lindsay. We're your biggest cheerleaders. Buy that duplex, girl.
I'm pretty convinced after this conversation. I really am. I know. We'll take a break. Heather Osmond with us, Drew Armstrong, UtahRealEstate.net. More on the home show in just a minute.
It's the KSL Home Show, sponsored by Osmond Designs. If you like talking about Utah homes and real estate, then this is the place on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back into the home show today. Thank you for joining us. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope your 2022 was magical and you have hope and joy on the horizon for 2023. That is what we wish for you here at KSL News Radio. Heather Osmond with us of Osmond Designs. Heather, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's the last day of 2022. Oh my goodness. I hope you have fun plans tonight for New Year's. Lots of fun things that we are excited to talk about in the real estate market, not only residential, but also commercial. You're probably thinking, if you haven't done it already, you need to take down your Christmas.
Yeah.
You guys.
Can I hire your people, Heather?
Yes, you can.
I don't want to do it.
We have a service for that, Lindsay.
Oh, really?
Yes, we just happen to do that. We do have a few spaces available right here at the end of New Year's. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of like to leave my Christmas up through New Year's, and then that next week is when I take it down.
I think technically if you set it up in October, you can leave it up till February because...
Or if you're like Lindsay and you set it up a week before Christmas, then you should leave it up till March.
Yeah. It's staying up at least another week until I have time to take it down.
You're awesome.
I have had to tell people, you need to take your Christmas tree down because we're going to sell the house in May.
Right. Oh, gosh. It's a good time. Yes. And it's been just snowy outside. So it's been kind of fun.
We were talking about how the snow feels magical until Christmas. And then after Christmas, you're like, wow.
Annoyed.
Yeah. It's going to snow until March.
It's true. But the real estate market is still booming. I heard that there were quite a few homes that did still sell in the December time. Most of those people are forced to sell, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's always people that need to sell, and our demographic is the thing that is going to drive. I mean, the reason that they're raising interest rates is they're trying to slow down inflation, right? And so what they want is more unemployment. They want prices to stop going up so much, and the way you can make prices stop going up so much is by raising the rates so they're not as desirable.
I'm falling victim to their very plan because I'm like, I don't want to buy this house.
It's the evil plan, but the thing is that it's a blunt instrument. to try to manage supply and demand.
Yeah, and we have to slow it down a little bit, otherwise
and they need
inflation
to
will get out
slow
of
it
control.
down.
Yeah,
and I've been looking at numbers, and it's been interesting because there's a conference that's done every November at the end of November that the Ivory puts it together, and they invite all the developers and economists and everything to this. And it's funny because you've got two people that are working up, that are economists that work up at the U that are arguing with each other, and both of them have different opinions about what the market's going to be like in Utah this next year. And James Wood is one of them, and one of the things that he's saying we have never seen house values go backwards when we have such a low unemployment rate. We have never seen that in Utah, because there's a correlation, and sometimes we'll see it drop down a little bit, but then it'll recover even the next quarter. And in 2022, prices went up.
Yeah, substantially. It
mostly in the first half. In the second half, we've seen them come back down a little bit, but we're ending 2022 at higher prices than we entered. Like 1 year ago, prices are higher now than they were a year ago. They're not 22% higher that they were if you're buying a house in May.
Sure.
If you're the guy that bought it in May, and it's 9% higher than it was in December of last year.
Right.
Then yeah, absolutely, you're going, dang it. But long term, who cares?
You're set.
So I always say the only times anybody pays attention to what their house is worth is if they can't afford it or they're moving. That's the only time anybody even cares what the house is worth and looks into it. So and it should kind of be that way. But at the same time, I know that demographically speaking, Utah is the youngest state in the country by 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, the second closest is Idaho. And Idaho, on average, is 5 years older than us. And so what's going on right now that we are really in trouble with is that interest rates going up slows down people's willingness to purchase. And when they are not willing to purchase, then the builders slow down because they're borrowing money at higher rates too. And right now we're seeing a huge slowdown with the builders, and they're not selling as many homes as they used to, and they're working out some cool programs where they're willing to, for one, they're waiting further in the build cycle to go ahead and put those houses up for sale, and if they aren't selling them quick, they're renting them.
So this is in our starter home price point, right?
Yeah.
So those lower end homes, they're great for investors, though. There's always a market for people that need to rent homes. I know there are several developers, Edge Homes, Ivory Custom Homes. They are just renting these townhomes and just killing it.
Oh, the first time they were doing that was back in 2008. They got smart with this. I mean, we have D.R. Horton that just built a ton of townhouses right next to where I live, and they're not even trying to sell them.
Yeah.
Because they've learned, this makes a lot of sense for us to own rentals, and they're just renting them. And the ICO is Ivory's development arm that does the rentals, and they've got ICO communities that they were doing in 2008 that they were going to sell, and then they didn't, and now the properties are worth 2 and 3 times what they were worth at that point. And they're like, well, fine, we don't need to sell these things.
No.
Yeah.
And so they're still doing it that way. And if they're keeping them as rentals, then maybe we should think about
They're pretty
keeping them as
smart. I
rentals.
personally know one of the owners of ICO, and he is a Harvard. He's probably the smartest man I've ever met, truthfully.
Those Harvard MBAs.
Charts and graphs. I mean, to even be in Harvard, but then to get an MBA from Harvard is a whole nother level. But I'm working with them on some clubhouses and refreshing some of their current model homes that are dated. And I've never seen anything like it. I mean, it was a whole nother level, and I've been in this business for 27 years working with construction and builders. They know what they're doing. They are savvy business people. If they're doing it, we should all be doing it. You're listening to the KSL Home Show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's the KSL Home Show, sponsored by Osmond Designs. If you like talking about Utah homes and real estate, then this is the place on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back into the Home Show. Thank you for joining us. Happy New Year, everybody. We're so excited to go into 2023, especially in the real estate market in Utah. We have Drew Armstrong with us and Heather Osmond, of course, of Osmond Designs. And you guys have motivated me, I shall say. Every week I come here and I get motivated either to redesign my home or to get into the real estate market, because if you can find a place right now that can appreciate for a little while, you're sitting pretty, right?
Oh my goodness. I love this show because it's just always good news, I feel like. Yeah. You know, I've been doing this show for almost 4 years and I can't really remember a bad news episode in Utah. It just is always good news in the real estate market. They say, you know, even nationally, 90% of millionaires made their money in real estate, and that is so true here in Utah. It's a great time to be an investor. It's a great time to be a homeowner. If you have a great home that you love, remodel it. If you need to upsize or downsize or right size, whatever that may be, it's just such a great time to hire someone like Drew Armstrong and his partner, Matthew Flinders. We have Drew on the show with us today. Welcome.
Hey, I'm back here.
You're back again. We love having you. Good news for 2023 is get in the market. Even though interest rates are a little bit higher, you're fine. This is great.
It absolutely is. And it's funny because I think that a lot of people are like, well, how is it a great time? Because, you know, rates are so high. And yeah, but you know what? There aren't as many buyers. There's opportunity there. You're going to, you know, if you look hard enough, you're going to find somebody that like has to sell now.
Great deals to be had.
And there are good deals to be had, and you buy them at a good price right now. I mean, the commercial piece that we just bought, I think I underpaid for it.
Oh, for sure. And if you need an investor, Drew, you're calling me first.
Okay.
That is a great deal. I'm super excited for you.
Well, yeah, we may end up talking to you, Heather, because what we want to do is we're building this other building, and I want to do both of them at the same time. I think it's going to be 20% more work for me to do two at once instead of one at a time.
Just prolonging construction.
Yep. We'll just. Yeah, then you can, you know, you get your beds from your subs, and your sub does the basement, and then they moves over and does the other basement. So I think it's going to be easier for us, a little bit more efficient to do two at a time instead of one. So maybe I will talk to you.
You guys are so good at this, and so but this is your full-time job. What about people like me that have a full-time job? My husband has a full-time job, but we want to invest. Like, how do we manage all this?
Then just like your duplex that we were talking about, you just stick with properties that need paint and carpet. Right. Maybe just a little minor thing. Those are things you can do on the weekend. You hire them out, do what you do best, sub out the rest, take it from Drew Armstrong and Heather Osmond, who back in the day when we were young and we had no money and we were in there. I mean, personally, my husband and I were hanging sheetrock to the point where I was in tears. It was horrible. It was ruining our marriage. I said, we cannot do this anymore.
No. I mean, my kids, I can tell you, I mean, you ask them, why do we own duplexes or fourplexes or anything like that? They will tell you so that we can go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
Because they've been trained. The reason that we're all hanging over there out at the place at 1 o'clock in the morning cleaning paintbrushes because we're finally done painting,
trying to get the renter in,
is because that is what's going to afford the life that we want to live. And it's interesting because my daughter is 23 right now, and she's been married for 3 years, and her husband, his dad, owns 19 units.
Wow.
And so I'm like, oh yeah,
yes, he gets it.
And they just built and flipped one house that age, and well, they didn't build. They bought an old flipper and then fixed it up and flipped it, and he made a bunch of money. His brother made a bunch of money, and their first house he bought a month before they got married. And it has an apartment in the basement. And that apartment rent basically pays for they live up in Ogden, right by the university. Their apartment basically pays their house payment at this point because the interest rate's so low. Yeah. And they're thinking about the next one. He's almost done with school. She's done with school. And I think that once he finishes school, they'll end up keeping that as an investment and buy another one. it'll probably have an accessory apartment in it as well. Because they are programmed.
I'm so excited for them. Okay, in closing, I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite quotes. It's do what most people won't so that you can live like most people can't. So sacrifice now. Yeah. The payoff will be later. Work now or work later. If you make smart investments now, your life will be better later. We're investing in our future retirements. There's no better way than in real estate. Buy the house.
You're always a proponent of buying the house.
Yeah, buy it.
Buy it. Do it.
Buy it. Yeah, I mean,
I haven't even told you the specs, the work it needs, anything. I've only told you the area, and
that's the easy part, Lindsay. We got you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can help you with like subs and the right people to call for everything. I know somebody who sells carpet.
Oh, I like it. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we have some interior design services. We'll help you pick out your paint, your carpet, your hardwood, your countertops.
Absolutely.
It'll look great.
I'm sold. Heather Osmond, of course. Osmond Designs is where you can get all your interior design services. They also take down your Christmas. So
yes,
call
we do.
Now. And then Drew Armstrong, UtahRealEstate.net if you need a real estate agent. Either one of these two can help you out. Guys, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. See you next year.
See you next year.
Hey, Casey Scott here, and I want to tell you about my podcast, Project Recovery, sponsored by Reprieve Recovery. It's a podcast about addiction, but more importantly, it's about recovery. My co-host, Dr. Matt Woolley, and I hear stories about overcoming addiction and going from rock bottom to living a healthier and sober lifestyle.
We also share strategies with people at all stages of recovery, and we hope it'll help you find what works best for you, and we can support one another. That's Project Recovery, a KSL podcast. Subscribe for free anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Hey guys, meet Salt Lake City's favorite men's health expert.
Hi, I'm Eric Ramos, healthcare provider at Revive Men's Health. I've been treating men suffering from low T and ED for over 5 years. Low T can impact your whole life, but so can proper treatment of it. And hearing that my patients are back to living life to the fullest, that's the best part of my job.
Contact Revive for a free T-check and exam today. Call 801-263-7777. That's 801-263-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.